Welcome back, everybody, to another Day Zero stream here on the Cumblock Home server. And the last time we put together this, which is presently hovering in the sky, high above where we actually want it to be. Where we actually want it to be is more down here, but we built this entirely out of stone and oak planks, and we want to add some greebling to it. We wanted to give it more visual kind of like flair to it, because as realistic as it might be that things are generally made of at least one overly visible material, it's really not great for the eyes. It just looks terrible. It just looks boring and dull. And there's also a matter of like the greebling being organic as opposed to overtly man-made. All of this stuff around the walling is me. I did that. But we want to make sure that the rest of it looks fairly organic and like not really something that humans did. We did try to do this by getting rid of all of the stone, making a schematic, and then using this schematic cannon. But as we swiftly learned, the schematic cannon will only make exact replicas of what you what you give it. So we made this nice little palette, and it didn't care. You're the slightest bit. So yeah, just gonna grab one of each of these so that I know exactly. Let's see about the gravel. I think gravel I might put in by hand because that could be a pain. There we go. So there's our stone palettes that we want. That'll give us some nice visual diversity, and the schematic cannon clearly isn't going to do it. Time to do it manually? Yes and no. Time to do it in a way that's going to be a bit more fiddly, but will nonetheless work. How long are you going to burn for, sir? Whomst are you? Ursula the Knight. Ursula, I think you've seen better days, but you appear to have fire resistance, so good on you. Could you... Oh, you have severe knockback resistance as well. Come on, that way. Little more, come on. You just a touch, come on. Nearly there, almost there, come on. We'll get, did you have to, come on. Just a little, just over to the, come on. That way, please, come on. Little more, nearly there. There we go. Bye, Ursula. Who is still alive, which is honestly kind of impressive. Grats to you. You've still got 25 health. Ooh. Wow. Okay, I guess Ursula lives here now. Just apparently. First thing I need to do actually is get rid of the snow up here. Schematicas for remaking molds? I don't know that we have schematica. No, I don't think we do. Fairly certain we don't. Huh. One of the Fae? Yeah. Ursula the Knight, one of the Fae. Okay, let's get our coordinates in here. I just realized I can see those up there. Hurrah! Well, so let's see. Fill 337122392331 over to here. Great thing about the fill command is it can be made to more or less any way you need, but we're probably gonna have some problems later on. Air replacing snow. There. That exists because this is so high up that when it rained recently, you just laid a layer of snow. Okay. So, how are we going to apply some good, granular, completely random, or at least close to random. Randomness in computing is a bit complicated, but yeah. Actual, like, paletting here. How are we gonna do that? The best way I know is to use structure blocks. Because these handy-dandy things happen to have an integrity value. And what that means is that you can have it be that when you replace things with it, it only does X amount of the blocks, rather than the whole thing. Can I replace stone with random assortment blocks? No, because I can't give it multiple blocks in the fill command. Believe me, that would be lovely, but no. Now the downside, let's just actually start out by getting a nice spread of where this thing is. Yeah, the downside is that structure blocks have a size limit. And I am fairly certain that this thing is going to be above it. Also guessing no will that correct. Yeah, these, I believe, are limited to 16 by 16. It would help if I put this on the right side. As opposed to the right side. But yeah, if we set this to 32 by 32 by 32, it continues to go. Okay, what about that? 48. There we go, we found the limit. So this... yeah, it's very slightly too long. Width and height should be fine. Well, that is very handy. I'm well aware. But we don't have it. Therefore, discussions of its usage is kind of irrelevant. Okay, so there's one corner. Like, I've used Will It before. I used it for Spring Realms way back when. It made having the it made making the dungeons on Spring Realms way easier. Maybe shift the structure block closer to the wall. It's off by like a half dozen blocks, not one. That ain't it, Chief. I do in fact know what I'm doing here. Okay. So there we are. That is as close in as it can be. Yeah, it's not going to be solved like that. Okay, okay, about 3 blocks over. Is it close enough that the rest can be done by hand? Perhaps. Potentially. Okay. We just want to get this as tight in as we can. Which direction is that? That is the Z direction. Let's see. 56. Wait, no, that's the opposite direction. 38. It's by 10. Oh, very close. 57. Remember that structure blocks save air and will replace other blocks with it. Conditionally. There is such a thing as a structure void, but that's fine. We will not be needing that just yet. Structure voids mean that if it would replace something, it will not, essentially. It'll just more or less be ignored when it's generating. Just trying to get this as tight as I can. Okay, so I think one less on the vertical. About 19. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So, the bulk, definitely the vast bulk of this, we can get into one structure file. The forward, 6, 7, 8, about 8 blocks. We'll probably have to do manually. Because it's almost not worth having a structure block that small. But we could, I guess. Okay. So, we're just gonna save this in a folder. And we're gonna call it, Fort Ruins 01. Okay. Save. Wrong button. There. Structure saved as Fort Ruins 01. Okay. So now, if we... Let's see, we know the size of this thing, so we should be able to just grab that. 48, 19, 37. Why don't I have the structure block on the other side and have the bits off the wall outside? I don't know what you mean. So... But believe me, I have spent time figuring out how to do this. Alright, so I just need to get a convenience block to point at when I'm entering a command here. Polished granite is always my go-to for a block that I'm not going to be messing with. Okay, fill. Bip, blip, blip. So we now know that we have a file which is specifically the thing pure stone. No, oh, we missed a block down there. No, we just need to shift that down a bit. So let's see, that was 48, 20, 37. Yeah, then I'll get it. Oh, but I will also grab this. Away with ye. Thankfully, we have plenty of vertical space. Okay. And I did not get the coordinates of that block. Bleh. Okay. Like I said, I knew what I was doing. I didn't say I would do it perfectly. Okay. So, we know that we want cobblestone in here. Replace stone. So what this will do... Oh, hey, thanks for the sub, Dave. What this will do is that it will replace all of the stone blocks, and exclusively the stone blocks, in here with cobblestone. Which is not what we want, but... wait for it, we'll be getting there. Okay. So we know we've got that. If we just grab that, we switch our mode to load. Same position, we're just going to change our integrity. So how much do we want to be cobblestone? I'm gonna say about 10%, give or take. We've got a lot. Let's see, how many blocks do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, including stone. I'd say about 10% is fine. Okay. If we want to be particularly granular, we could say 0.99 and just keep reapplying until we think we've got done. Anyways, if we hit load, we see that the bulk of it has now returned to being stone. But there's little patches of cobble still lying around. And if we repeat this process with all the other things that we want this to be, then we can gradually, very gradually, create ourselves a nice kind of mixed palette of stuff. So let's see, we got stone. Let's go for andesite next. Once again, replacing the stone. Although what will happen then is that it will randomly replace some of our existing cobblestone with the stone, and our cobblestone will be placed back. So in theory, we would want to actually create a separate structure file for each step of the way, as it were, kind of like a save point, if you will, which we might as well do. I've put this in, I've labeled it that specifically so that it ends up in one specific folder on the server. Bear in mind, all of this is on the server. But if we need to get rid of any schematics I've been responsible for, then we can literally just delete one folder. But okay, save as Fort Ruins 02. There we go. So now, let's replace all of that stone with our mossy cobble, or andesite. Let's go with andesite. So once again, yeah, none of the cobblestone's been touched. And we'll stick with our 0.9 value. And it's a little harder to tell because andesite blends in very nicely, but we can see that some of the andesite has now stuck around. Okay. Looking good. We just repeat this process until we're through all of our blocks. And we should get something that looks pretty nice. So the next on the slate, let's start with the grays. Why not? Let's start with all the grays, shall we? Oh, hello everybody. You have no idea how this is working, but that's super cool. Basically, when we go to load, there is this structure integrity field. There's also the seed, which is just the string that goes into the random number generator that it uses. But the integrity basically means that whenever, throughout the entire construction, it rolls a random number between 0 and 1. And if that number is less than your structure integrity value, then it will place the block. Otherwise, it will ignore it. It'll just continue on. So in this case, there is a 90% chance that it will place the block from the structure when it's overriding existing terrain. Which means there's a 10% chance that it doesn't, and that leaves behind some of the stuff that we want to keep. Okay. We are next placing polished andesite. So once again, over the stone. Yeah, that sticks out a fair bit more, doesn't it? Okay, so load, 0.9, we are on 3. And we did keep some of the polished andesite. Very nice. This is just like, this is eating up a bunch of space on the server, but again, that's why we have it under a file. And it's just a very easy way, from vanilla, no less, to ensure that you've gotten all the stuff you need. Okay, next on the list is stone bricks. Good old stone bricks. Okay. And load. Yeah. So it's making the whole structure look a lot more, this is vanilla? Yeah, this is vanilla. You'll, believe it or not, these blocks actually exist in the world in vanilla. Not much, but modded. Yes, this is definitely a mod pack, yes. But structure blocks, the thing I'm using right now, are vanilla. I use them on spring realms all the time. They were how I made structures regenerate over time. So, yeah, we're adding more visual noise and depth to our structure here by just sort of making them more for the eye to catch on. How woodland mansions get randomized rooms. Correct. Or also how villages are constructed. All of those are structure blocks. So let's save that as 5. And next on the docket is cracked stone bricks. You know this because you know about woodland mansions, not structure blocks. Fair. Oof, that is a look. Yeah, it's just sort of becoming more and more bedraggled, which is perfectly fine for us. Let's see, would we... Yeah, there's some. So just sort of point by point. As once we got this, we'll work on the planks as well. Okay, now we get to the moss. Now ideally, if you were doing this by hand, which we could, but it would take an age, moss would generally tend to be densest at the lower levels, where it's like closest to the ground and the grass and such. It's fine for the most part if you just have it splattered across the whole thing. But if I were doing this like much more cautiously, if I was being paid for this, in short, then we would be a bit more cautious about where we placed everything. But so let's start with mossy stone bricks. Happy to have you, Marsh. Yeah, adding a splash of color. Very nice. So save that, that'll be 7. And our last block, for the stones at least, is mossy cobble. The good old nostalgic mossy cobble. And there we have it. One quite dilapidated structure. At least for the stone elements. The wood parts are mysteriously untouched, but nonetheless. looks good. Looks a lot better. Okay, so onto the wood. Let's remember to save that. Have an altar named moss, so sometimes... Oh, right. And I misread that as altar rather than altar, sorry. Okay. So, we need a pallet for our planks here. What are we gonna make our planks into? Just clear that out. Let's look for planks in JEI here. So baobab looks good. I do like the look of cypress. I think Scythian and other stuff is just gonna be way too overt. In fact, let me just bring up planks in here so I can see it a bit easier. So Laku Grove we got. That's roofing. Don't need that just yet. Baobab, fir, holly, spot of cypress maybe. Maybe not. Pine, palm. And we're not going to be using all of these, I'm just looking through them. Scythian does look nice, but I worry it's going to stick out too much. Yeah, look at that. The mossy can kind of blend in a bit more, but that looks pretty neon. So, yeah, I think pine might do okay. Holly, I think, would definitely work fine. Okay. Fir. Oh, the fur is beautiful. Look at that. That is such a delicate, subtle change. Yeah, keep that. Baobab, it's a bit brighter than the others, but it's also a fairly subtle change. If you weren't necessarily looking for that, you might skip right over it. That's good. Laku Grove, definitely too bright. Okay. That gives us 4 things to replace our oak planks here with. Okay. So let's see. Fill. Oak planks. What was it? First one we'll start with is the holly, I think. Baobab looks yellowed from age, which is neat. True, but it stands out too starkly. When you're mostly adding noise, you want to try and stay fairly tight. Pine, I think it was. Replace oak. Just make sure. Holly for pine. There's pine. Okay, good. Pine was on our list then. Before I misclicked. Okay, so that is all of the oak planks replaced. And boy, you can certainly see the line there, but that's fine. It's not staying. Okay. We got 8, let's load. So now the majority of it's gone, but we've still got smatterings about. Good, good, good. So that's number 9, or stage 9, I guess, of weathering this structure. And the next one is Baobab. So add another hint, another layer there. Yeah, good. Yeah, it's looking a little... the pine's sticking out a bit more than I hoped it would. I think it's doing okay. We'll see how it stacks up once we actually get through everything. Fur, our next one. Okay. Yeah, it definitely blends better than the pine did, I think. we'll see how it looks when we get to the end of it. Okay, last one, holly. Jolly holly. Okay, so how does that stack up all over? Holly, holly could be a bit much, I think. Honestly, I think fir and baobab might have been the ones to go with. Yeah, because those are a lot more subtle. Whereas pine and holly are kind of sticking out so far. So let's see. We want there. So replace the holly with oak and the pine as well. There. Look at that. That is much more subtle. Okay, so let's make a clone of that. Call that 12. And now we'll just try and add in some more baobab and more fir. There we are. So just load back in. Let's see, is that a good amount? I think that's a good amount. Texture on this build. I mean, I'm trying here. I'm trying to make it look good. Okay, that I think is good for the baobab. So the other one is fir. It stands out when it's right next to the baobab, but because it's splashed, it should work fine. So there we go. I think that'll do. I think that'll do. Okay, now there is a solid line where all of this texture work that we've done just stops. But we should be able to deal with that. We should be able to manage that. Okay. Weathering the logs would be good, but I don't think that's reasonably feasible. But okay, now the hard part. Getting this down to the surface. We need to start, of course, by saving again. Save early, save often, everybody. You know the drill. Okay. So, as was rightly pointed out at the beginning of this stream, when we are making schematics like this, it includes all of the air. There's no... You can tell it whether or not to save entities, but you cannot tell it whether or not to save air, except for one particular example, which is that we can replace all of the air in that space that we've been working on anyways with, I'm probably going to want to be a little bit more specific with this. So, there. Do the loop. To there. Do the loop. Okay, so that's purely the space that's inside there. That's important for cleaning this up later. We want to place structure void, replacing all of the air. Now, it looks like nothing has changed in person, but the map certainly noticed. Because now, what is in here, every single air block has been replaced by a structure void. And not unlike the structural integrity value, we are able to say just ignore that when you're working through. So we save that as Fort Ruins 15. And here's where things get laggy, but it's helpful. Show invisible blocks. Diddle-oo. Yeah, there's every single one highlighted. And that is how Minecraft is able to have big structure files that intersect with terrain but don't just plain erase it. And also it is laggy as hell to see that. Okay. So that gives us a structure that we can now drop directly over top the terrain down here with 100% integrity without getting rid of, say, all of the trees, all of the grass, all the other stuff that we like to have around here. So load Minecraft lying Fort Ruins 15. Integrity of that. We load it once just to get the actual wireframe up, and then we need to move it around accordingly until it matches our position there. So let's see, we know that way is Z. So say minus 45? Okay, a little less than that. 32 maybe? Okay, good. And forwards, about 3. Good eye, good eye. And 1 down. Okay. That should be all of that. Let's just check. It is dead level at the top. Good. And it should include everything over this way as well. Good. Okay. Now, if this goes wrong, I'm about to nuke our entire build. I'll have a backup of it in the sky. But, this can go wrong. And I have had this go wrong before. One thing I am just quickly going to do is replace the structure void in that same area with air, just so that my map isn't utterly hecked. There we go. Right. Fingers crossed, everybody. Perfect. Okay, so there we go. We now have our weathered version of the ruins down here at ground level. Perfectly fine. Okay. But once again, we do probably need to do the weathering over here by hand, which is fine. We can probably handle that. Nice, nice. You can run /backup. I can. Not now, but I can. So yeah, looks much better. Much better. As I say, if you were trying to build, if you were deliberately trying to build this as weathered, you'd be a lot more careful where you put stuff. But that's what we got. Looks good, I think. Good start. So we can get rid of this, I think, entirely. And also this. And I think we can probably just get rid of my entire inventory. There we go. Okay. Which I believe now means we can get rid of the stuff hanging in the sky entirely. So, goodbye. That just leaves us with the one piece that didn't get fixed up in the course of all that. Maybe something you should have run before loading it. You're not wrong. But there is a delay in chat. Get back there. Okay, so that's the whole area that we need to fix up. There's some further detailing that we could do, which is that right now everything down here is a full block. And whilst that's realistic, everything here would have been made out of a full block and it would have turned into something like this. It doesn't add a lot of surface texture. And the way that people tend to mix that up is that they tend to use slabs, blip, as well as stairs. You can get a lot of stairs in the same exact material that we've got in here. But you'd need to actually make sure that they're rotated properly and placed properly, which could take us a while, suffice to say. But okay, let's see about getting some texture into here. So let's start with the stuff that barely sticks out. And this is where we're probably going to start to see the distinction between doing this with RNG versus doing it by hand. Namely that these are not going to appear properly randomized, they're not going to appear properly, like, clustered out. They're just going to be placed more or less where I have access to them. Which also means they're going to be pretty much surface deep. And the proportions aren't going to be the same, but I can have this ready for April 3rd, or I can be here until Christmas. That's our options. Okay, and our bricks, and our cobble. This way you would have tried to get the maximum amount of building in the border rather than the bits of stone that look like they rolled down the hill. It's nice to have everything look good. It upsets you that it's mid-March. Yeah, time. Time's really changed since the before times. I remember Christmas and being on a Zoom call with my family. Weird that, huh? Seems like only yesterday. Everything less than a week? Ooh. Hap port. Shabby. Well, which is actually not too shabby in the context of this build would be a problem, because we're trying to make it look shabby. Tick tock, tick tock. Not shabby, just old. I mean, it can be both. There are very old things that aren't shabby and very young things that are. Doesn't mean they can't both be the other. Okay. I'd say if we're doing this by hand, then we might as well plonk most of the moss towards the lower levels of it. One way that we could have done it up there when we were doing the structure version is just lowering the top Y level of our selection when we were swapping out the stone for the mossy stuff. But given that this is on a bit of a slope, that would have still led to a weird kind of water level across the entire structure, where above it there is no mossy. So, just the way things go. Let's say. Let's have a quick poke inside here. How are you looking? Could do with being a bit messed up. the other problem of doing this by hand is it tends to end up being surface deep only. Have we done cracked? We have done cracked. There's just not a lot of it over here. And I believe Mossy Cobble's the last missing piece. Okay. And a book. So, ideally, we're not able to see where we placed it manually and where it was placed by an RNG. Bearing in mind I know exactly where it starts and stops, I think that's okay. Okay, yeah. I think that's good. Alright, so we can get rid of this part up here. Yeah. Good ruins, good ruins. Don't know what its function was, but it's kind of irrelevant now, that's for sure. It's a castle? No. Definitely not. Castle will be much larger. This was definitely more of a fort. Okay. Step 2. The tree. Dusty, you and you're making me chug. I've got like another hour and a half on this stream. Could you make sure I'm able to actually hydrate? Okay. So, we know what block we're using for our tree here. Just say we are using witch hazel. Because it is glorious green and so incredibly thematically appropriate. The castle is just a fortified home? Incorrect! The castle is a lot of things. The fact that somebody lives there is not even necessarily relevant to it. Okay, so the idea here is that there's this very old fort that was either abandoned and left to time, and in the middle of it is a huge witch hazel tree. Inside of that is where Feylang is going to make their residence. Now, you could argue that what we've just done is organic building, but I'm not very practiced with organics. I tend to work more with structural decay, that kind of thing. That I'm good at. Buildings, sure. Plants, not so great. Feylang, oh, have you not been here for that? Yeah, come block home, we are doing Feylang. Now, what would be good would be to actually just have, like, just a sapling. Like in a 2x2 or a 3x3 or whatever, like, it just plonk down and, like, spawn, and off we go. And then just hollow something out. Like the sacred rubber tree. But firstly, the sacred rubber tree isn't in this pack. Secondly, it would destroy the forest, let alone anything else. So, Also, is there a glow shroom thing that I can just plonk down? Mossy glow shroom, blue glow shroom, biomes you go. Okay, I think I can plant those down. Those will be handy later on. Sacred rubber tree might be a tad too large. Indeed, indeed. There's not a permanent residence that has a fortress or stronghold. I mean, is there another big tree equivalent? I don't know. Dave, is there? Anything to help me cheat my way through making a gigantic tree? And whilst we wait for Dave to respond, I'm going to just hang here. Clear my chat. It's a little bit latency. I don't know where I can actually pull this off. There we go. Okay. Just gonna hang here for a second. A tired dungeon. Does Biogy have anything? Again, I don't know. Are those giant redwoods in here? They are, but they're not quite the right structure, I think. Could take this time to refill my drink. No, because then I would have to leave the desk. Dusty. There may be schematics online for big trees. Yes, but I would need to import them to the server. And a lot of these are definitely... Oh, hey, book, how you doing? A lot of these were definitely built using World Edit as well. You can do that? Yes, you can. I can't. But you can. Okay, let's... Oh, what do we want to do? I think one thing we can do is just actually make a cone of all of this. Can painstakingly remake the giant tree schematic block by block. Yes, that's what I can do. Okay, so about here, over to here. What's the high point here? High point is 89. Okay, and let's clone that to 3374, 200. Suggested ebony or witch hazel. Well, we're surrounded by witch hazel. I don't think it's big enough, naturally. That is, yes, 9195. Okay. Just plonk a duplicate in the sky. Ebony trees generate huge? Well, let's have a look at it. We now have a potentially have a button that I can just push to reset this whole thing. But there we go. There's a clone of our exact structure. Theoretically, this tree is going to be bigger than the boundaries of this old fort, but for right now, this will suffice. Dangerous thing, give me a command block. I actually don't know if command blocks are enabled on this server. Dave? Dave in chat, are command blocks enabled on this server? Logically they are, or else I wouldn't be... There we go. Never mind. Okay, I'll just have to remember those coordinates. Okay. So, ebony sapling we're looking for. Let's have a look at those. Gonna guess that these are 2x2. You thought of me? Oh. Apparently not hard enough. Okay, how big is ebony? Definitely not big enough, unless we happen to have non-Euclidean Minecraft installed. Do we have... Actually, come to think of it, do we have non-Euclidean Minecraft installs? Like... Is that a thing? Because we definitely could... That would definitely make this a lot easier. Because I wouldn't have to go so ham on the tree. Do I want it? I'm guessing that's a no then. I also don't know if it's available for 1.16, come to think of it. At least fast leaf decay makes things easier. Has to be used very responsibly. Yes, it does. So I don't know that I trust a server for it. I don't know if I trust myself for it, let alone. Immersive Portals. That's my phone going off. I don't know what that beeping noise was. Yeah, we do not have, currently, Immersive Portals. But yeah, Immersive Portals is interesting because it lets you have an area that leads into an area that it basically lets you have a TARDIS. Simplest way to explain. Can nuke a server instantly? Yes, it can. It's like its main like showcase feature that a lot of people go for is just being able to see another dimension through a portal. But if you vary up the size of the entrance and exit portals, then you can make it so that when you go through it, you are smaller or larger than you started out. But you can also disguise the portals, so you can have an entry door lead into an area that's much larger than the structure itself, for instance, and that would be perfect for this. But as Dave rightly points out, it would be very dangerous. Okay, let's try the witch hazel. Let's see if that gives us some idea. Is that not more or less the exact same shape we had before? Moon quests! Thank you. Bleep. Had a bunch of subs. We've had a bunch of subs today. It's taller. It is taller. Maybe we should just bring the soul blade up here. There you are. Just a bit more. Blip. Big ol' me. Nope, there's more, apparently. Oh. Get a spawn egg from a mob using the capturing enchantment. What? Sorry? I did not do that. I'm guessing it's presuming that I did. There we go. Would you be able to see if a 3x3 from 4x4 are blue saplings? Yes, we can try that. If we can get it to, if we can get something that generates naturally at about the size we're looking for, then it'll save us a bunch of time. But worst comes to worst, it's also good, good reference, good inspiration, something that looks like the thing that it's meant to be, even if it's not. Okay, witches. What is the tree mod that's in here? This is the biomes you'll go. Nope, that just destroyed the other saplings. Let's try bone mealing the middle one, see if that has any difference. Nope. Okay, looks like it's just 2x2. Which stands to reason. That's Minecraft. Okay. Let's start by marking out just like the area that we want here. Because we know we're gonna want a decent sized room at the base. For reasons that will become clear in the future. Very wibbly, but should suffice as a base. Okay. Try to just make something that's relatively base of a tree shaped. Yeah. Trees IRL aren't usually perfect circles. No, they're not, but the mechanism that we're going to have at the base of this will require that it be a circle. What about the trees in the mountain shield biome? I don't know what trees those are, so... Okay. And then we could have roots coming off it, so like so. Gnarled old trees can get pretty oval. True indeed, true indeed. Let's try and just blend that in a bit better. CJ, hey! How you doing, everybody? FBI, open up! But I'm English! MI5, open up. Okay. Okay, let's see how that works. Looks kind of like flubber, but we're working on it. I'm just using the polished granite here because we can just replace it because it's not used anywhere else in the build. Yes, CJ, we are playing the Minecrafts. Imagine me playing Minecraft. Oh. It almost never happens. No one has ever done that in the history of Minecraft. Okay, I think this is getting to a decent point. You're the only person I know who plays Minecraft. Yeah, it's very niche. It's mostly extremely loyal, kind of like old guard kind of players these days, you know. Really took a turn when they like sold out and joined Microsoft. Okay, if we take that shape, mahogany. Oof. You've been employed by a friend to find you cool trees. Let's have a look at mahogany, shall we? Nope. That didn't even take up the entire 2x2. Oh. Gonna need a new idea for the patron server? Oh? Is your old one destroyed in some fashion? What? Oh yeah, that reminds me. I realized there was a bug in the current version of Various Oddities recently, which probably should have come to mind sooner. But there's a bunch of commands from Various Oddities. There's /settlement, /types, and /factions. All of which every single player can cast because they don't have restrictions on them. So I had to limit those to ops in more recent code. It's fine, they're mostly utility. I'm sure nothing will happen. Nothing bad will happen then. It just means that if you walked into like a changeling hive, you could literally just /settlement remove the place. Just in survival. It was big tree, been planning it since like New Helena. I'm so sorry. I tried to keep the current Lying's Patron pack available on Easy Launcher extremely light, so that I didn't necessarily have to spend hours upon hours upon hours like rooting out problems with it. Okay, So let's start building this up. Doesn't have to be perfectly the same shape as the floor. In fact, it's kind of better if it isn't. Living a hollowed out old tree stump. True. Yeah. There's an idea. Again, I'm not dreadfully experienced with organics, so apologies if this is not a work of Minecraft YouTuber art or whatever. I leave my YouTuber art to the fans. They're much better at it than I am. Lived in a tree stump in the Betweenlands. Oh. Neat. I think we might have had Betweenlands on this pack for a teensy bit. I don't recall exactly. BTLS 116? I do not remember. I presume so, because I think we had it in this pack for a bit, but I don't remember perfectly. Just kind of going for progressive but nonetheless chaotic kind of build here. Which is more or less what I tend to associate with organics, but we'll see. Turns out. You'll never forget logging onto the New Hell and falling to your death because Wolfram and Aku eradicated all forests on the islands, forgetting you lived in a treehouse. Oh. Yikes. I've always seen Aku around a bit. What are they doing? Okay. This is looking like a very square tree to me currently. Which I'm not dreadfully fond of, but yeah, we're working on it, we're working on it. I mean, it's in Minecraft. I suppose it was inevitable it would be kind of cubic, but, you know. Cubes are a man-made shape, even in Minecraft. They're very obvious in that fashion. Anyone amongst your friends knows how to write an entire Mistcraft dimension? Well, God, that takes me back a bit. I was definitely the one amongst the Chaos villains who could write entire worlds to spec. Didn't mean they were stable, but to spec. Like, if I needed an area that was just replete with diamond, that was not a problem. Okay, let's leave the sides alone for the moment. We can get those overrunning later. And again, this being polished granite currently is not a problem. It'll be replaced with witch hazel. Okay, can we get this to be a little less square? Because after a certain point, we pretty much just need to start going up. After a certain point, we're out of the roots level, as it were. One thing I did learn is you can make Mistcraft dimensions very stable if you don't care about the sky. It's like, oh, being exposed to the sun in this dimension will like wither you, slow you, poison you all at once. Okay, cave dimension. Job done. I don't know if that's still a thing you can do, but that's how I used to do things back then, eh? Okay. This is a bit of a stump, but here we go. I think that's starting. Look. I've been sleeping so well strike earlier. Okay, night size. Have a good sleep. Beef this front section up a bit. Just to make that look more flat. It doesn't have to be flat. Can make it anything else, anything I like, but we'll go with flat for the time being. Okay. Some instability can get you over that sky. Not wrong. Yeah, absolutely. I just remember there's nothing in this glass anymore. Thank you for that, Dusty. Okay. My dude. Dude, you brought this on yourself. There you go. You probably wouldn't survive anyway, but you brought it on yourself. Okay, let's just need to start building this part up. Again, doesn't need to be perfectly in line with the level below it. Just wants to be tall. Guess this is where the trunk begins. Sure are a lot of you, huh? Again, dude, same guy. I warned him. I told him about that sun. He just wouldn't believe me. Just refused to stay safe. Okay, guys, there's kind of a thing of death in the middle here. You might want to avoid that. Just saying. Now, here's a fairly important question with regards to the interior design of this space. Namely, do we want the interior design to go down or up? Because down is easy, but up requires that this be a very thick tree. which do we think would be better? Gonna make the whole tree either way, but we might have a lot more work on our hands if we go for a vertical base. Well, a above ground vertical base. Down should be our actual workspace, up could be small rooms, more for decorative than function. Good idea, good idea. Warden says both. Primarily down, but with a loft. Okay, where's a wand? There's a wand. Before I'm entirely getting away with this... Can just clone it, but want to make sure I don't go too overboard here. Okay, so there's the height before I get too wild. We don't need another massive project. Oh yeah. Smooth this out a bit in spots. So that it's not just all the same shape going up. Always more massive projects. Please no. Please no. Still looks like it's a bit too abrupt on the base to me. Yeah, we're using granite as a placeholder because we'll be able to just use /fill to replace it all. Because smooth granite, well, polished granite does not exist in this build otherwise. We previously had a fully pure stone outer edge here, for instance. We do not have access to world edit or anything else of the nature, so that is making this very tedious. Yeah, that still looks kind of abrupt to me. But yeah, we are building this on a version, a clone of the area below us, so that we can heck up all we like up here and not have to worry about breaking anything. What are you? Roll of shots. Apparently something died out here, apparently. Can't imagine how that happened. It's looking better. Looking better. I built crystals before. There was a fair few big crystals on New Helena, but trees I am very inexperienced at making. I don't actually even recall how I built the tree for Undermine. Way back when. A bit more around here. Just trying to smooth out the gradient so that's the change in angle from like the main log isn't quite as abrupt. What is the name of that? That's gone completely out of my head now. Hi there. How you doing? You're creepy as hell. Trunk. Thank you, Dusty. That's the word. That means a kind of like swimwear here in the UK. It's the gonk? Right, of course, the gonk. How could I forget? It's so obvious now. Hence the band, of course. Am I still in Iron Misting? Yes, we had to reset the map because of some changes, but yes, indeed. Is that a penis? I mean, most vertical objects in Minecraft end up looking like that, but if your penis looks like this, consult a physician. Especially if your penis is mysteriously made out of polished granite. Okay. Let's cap this off. Booked, are you okay? Just smooth the top out a bit. I don't actually know what the top of a tree looks like without its branches. So I'm just completely winging it here. Okay. And then we have to add branches. Which are especially difficult because we're now building in the air. At least we have a semi-example of what which hazel trees look like. Really took on a project? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Building gadgets? Building? Has a build to here function? Oh, interesting. How? Slight problem. You might need to tell me how to use the dang thing. Am I planning to completely hide my face? Because if not, you think little windows and jut outs would look really nice. The idea is that the Fae are always... they're heavily about drama. They're heavily about theatrics, about operatics, play, that kind of thing. They're built on the illusion of mortal kind of like worlds, but out of date and off, in a fashion that they're just sort of like putting on an act. That kind of thing. So, in this case, what we've got is the big natural tree in the ancient ruins, which is a very classic kind of Shakespearean kind of Fae garb. And then on the interior, we sort of go behind the curtain a bit. So there's clockwork running everything, making everything tick-tock and whatnot, which I have to say is something that's kind of bugged me about Create so far, is there's not actually all that much in the way of ambience. Like, you can have like 500 different gears turning around you and it's just silent. Which is a fae? No. This character is a fae. Okay, block, polished granite. Good. So now if I... Oh. Okay, that's interesting. Not what I intended to do, but interesting. But... yeah, that could save us some time though. I'll give you that. Which is Fae vibe, but not actual Fae. Correct. Yes. Best part of it, there's an undo. Huh. Need to bind it. Ah, of course. Because why would that be by default? Okay, how do I change anything else on this? Maybe that's the next question. It's not a scroll. I think we can probably handle this. I think we'll probably deal with this as is. Oh, that's why it's so long. It's because it's literally building over to me from that direction. So if I... yeah. Okay, I think I understand it now. So let's just start by adding some little branches, as it were. Just adding some straight lines out at different points and angles and lengths. Essentially, we're just going to try and build a noise mesh up here. That's all that we really need to get this going. Okay. There, I think. Okay. Alright. So there's a start. Don't look like much right now, I know. But we'll get there. This is going to be the harder part when it comes to adding the logs, is because these will have to actually go in directions. As long as we don't go beyond the boundaries of the fort for this chunk, we should be fine with getting this into a schematic later. Are we having an ethical discussion about the witch in my chat? Really? Okay, just checking, just making sure.
Don't be afraid to borrow.
Yep.
Chord progressions.
Be gone, talkie music. Looking around at BYG, and although not big enough, pine logs might be a good choice for the wood of the tree. We already have a wood chosen out. It is witch hazel. Because it looks perfect. And it's called witch hazel. How could I not? Whatever option did they have? I mean, not murdering 135,000 people? just as an idea. generally speaking, I think if you murder 135,000 people to survive, you're more or less convicted of something. One hopes. Okay, how's that looking? A bit abrupt, but we can fix that. Trees have a very interesting sort of hourglass shape to them. I know. I know, random car outside. There's this, there's also a weird, interesting state of which, trees... Leaves, the branches and leaves of trees are morphologically very, very, very similar to their roots. To the point that you can take a tree, bring it entirely out of the ground, invert it, i.e. turn it upside down, and put it back in the ground, and it will actually do okay. Kinda doesn't care. Almost impressive, really. Almost enviable. I'm trying to channel my inner Lizzie here, because she's way better at building than I am. Yeah, I think it's called the... There's a great example of that called, I think, the ghost tree? Not 100%, but yeah. So in theory, principles for making roots also hold for making, branches. Okay. I think that's at least good enough for us to swap with logs, at least for the moment. These branches are very spindly, but branches tend to be. Roots also tend to be, but the ones above ground, not so much. There's also bioluminescent trees. Yes, there are. There's also walking trees. Literally, trees that move. And not, like, Whomping Willow, either. How's that looking? Phrase I'll say 2,000 times this stream. I think it's getting there. I consider hurting people all the time. I mean, yeah, the main difference is I don't. The witch decided that their life was more valuable than that of 135,000 people. Okay, so let's replace that with witch hazel and see how it goes. So we would start about here. Let's point down here. To up here. We want to replace with witch hazel log. Polished granite. Click. Nope, that's andesite. That'll do nothing. So there we are. That is a good start. Hi. Boy, there's a lot of you in here. Probably because I'm the only place on the server where they can happen. I think the blame should be on whoever... should fall to whoever put the witch in that position. I mean... on the one hand, they shouldn't have done that. On the other hand, they shouldn't have done that. Okay, is there... Yes, there is. Witch hazel wood. Good. Because that means that we can go around the outside of the bottom here and make this a little bit more uniform. So that not all of it has that top. Hello, cultist corn. How's the harvest? That good, huh? Good to know. Don't touch me. Stay away from me. What we could also just do is actually select an area lower than that and then just match that, but we'd have to get rid of those trees first. Which shouldn't be a problem, actually, come to think of it. Just need to divest from there. Grab the good old sawmill. Where are you? Or the mechanical saw, to be exact. Handle? Hinge? What is it called? No. Lever? No. Hinge, handle, lever. What is that called? Wrench. God, I... There's a recurring thing with, like, ADHD where you just forget words. What is it called? Crank. Right. It also means something weird here in the UK. I just need to act... Yep. I thought so. I thought that might happen. There we go. Could you imagine if I turned that around and this entire thing vanished? Imagine that. Okay, didn't mean for that one to go, but at least we didn't get the main tree. Wait, why am I... Why am I finding witch hazel logs on the other side? Little concerning, but I think we're good. Sawmill's power continues to be uncontrollable. Like, by all accounts of what I can see here, we're fine. Magic witch hazel. I mean, it is witch hazel. I guess that makes sense. Yeah, no way you're touching anything I care about. Or indeed, affecting anything I care about. Come on. Thank you. It's more like what I wanted. Every time you take out the sawmill, you think you should be legally obligated to run a backup command. Fair! Fair and valid. Okay, let's point to about here, I think? Maybe a bit lower. Maybe more like here. Let's see, and that level is 211. Let's just replace all of our witch hazel logs from there down, which is about 8 levels, with the wood. It worries me that it only changed 66 blocks, and I don't see a single thing. Oh, because it was relative coordinates, that's why. Let's see, where's 34, 19, 9, 1, and 6. So that would be over here. Yeah. There we are. Okay, yeah, I need to be over here. You'd be really sad if the whole tree vanished. You're not wrong. Okay. That's better. Okay. Much better. Pretty relatively obvious where we did it versus where we did it by hand, but much better. Okay. It's more like a tree now. Good, good, good. Okay. We did just have a backup, but... I know there's like a backup thing in here somewhere. Baby creeper? What? Can mix in willow wood for texture? I could, yeah. Where was there a baby creeper? Oh, yeah. Baby creepers are a thing. Also, jeebus. There's... Could you imagine walking up to a tree and hearing all of this inside of it? Dear Lord. Which reminds me, I should probably claim these chunks. Shouldn't I? Claim chunks. For no major reason, then that'll make that'll turn the creeper detonations off in this area. Okay. Get the flamer. No! We were just talking about how much effort I put into making this thing. No! Okay, so... Jeez. What next? What next? Obviously it needs, like, leaves. That's a fairly overt thing. Get the laser swords. I think same problem, so... Is there an item in this pack that will place, like, a spheroid when we throw stuff? He's still empty. Because if there is, then I can just throw that a bunch at the top and then replace the resulting blocks with leaves. What was the suggestion? Willow? Oh, yeah, willow is pretty similar. To the point I'm not sure I can tell them apart, actually. Ah. The color is near identical, I think. But they're rotated, so they would stick out like sore thumbs. Open blocks, cloud in a bottle. Yes, I know what you're thinking. And we have it, but it's not that. Rats, what are you doing? What are you doing, rats? Rats. Adds texture variation? It does, it does. Well, there's one very simple way, at least, to add a bunch of leaves. 3388 237 9196 over 2 about here, I think. Yep. 3417 226 9228. Let's make it the witch hazel leaves. Replacing air. Persistent equals false. Because that way, they'll decay. And because we have fast leaf decay on, they should decay quite quickly. That said, this might lag a bit. So that is all of the leaves that can be handled by our branch structure. Oh hey, it drops apples. And a lot more besides. Okay, well it looks like a tree. Which is good. The item pickup noise? Yeah, gotta love it. I tried to think how much has just fallen off the edge. Okay, so I think we need to add some texture to it, but looks good. And by texture, I mean I think we need to, like, shape it. Like a bonsai. Like the world's biggest bonsai. Got some honeycomb and honey blocks. I do intend to be adding noise here using structure blocks again. So for instance, I want to make sure that there's lighting around the exterior of this so that I don't walk out and get creepered, for instance. And I also don't want to, like, shove a whole ton of torches on it, so adding blocks that actually glow to it would be good. The world's biggest bonsai, that's just a normal tree. I mean, does this look like a normal tree? Like, really? Okay, let's move in a bit. 3394, 241, 9218. 2 flats? I mean, yeah, there's that. Also, it's made of cubes, but, you know, still. Down to about here, maybe? Yeah? 3410, 223, 9203. Witch hazel leaves again. Persistent equals false. Replacing air. Position is not loaded? What are you talking about? Oh. Wait, that's like 300 blocks away. That cannot be right. Where was I originally? No? Yummy! Like your cat ears? Why, thank you very much. They are by Razer. They are the replacements for my original cat-eared headphones. 3395. Okay. Or 3394. There. There's where I went wrong. Okay. There we go. That's a bit of shape. As I say, we need to mold it a bit more. But once we got the actual shape of the tree done, we can start greebling it. And making ideally sure that that doesn't happen. Jesus. That's happening because we're so far up from the world that there is nothing that can spawn down below because we're too far away. Where they'd be spawning in, like, caves and whatnot. But oh no, not here. Okay, so let's just curve this inwards. Towards the actual trunk. Or sorry, the gronk. In a fairly chaotic fashion. Gotta make sure this is closer to the gronk. Mob farm. There'll probably be a mob farm at some point in this season. I mean, come on, it's me. But it is not meant to be my house. Also, fairly certain this is not representative of what witch hazel trees look like, but it's fine. This is a special witch hazel tree. All witch hazel trees are special, but this one is very special. Because an archfey lives here. I'm probably gonna want to add some more just to sort of fill in this area, but right now, subtractive shaping should suffice. We can get into the additive. Okay. Dude, do you mind? I'm trying to do a thing here. Okay. Where there's a burst sculpture, there definitely isn't, like, we'll let it. I know that for a fact, but we are not running we'll let it in this, so. Just gotta deal. We gotta do things the hard way, like our ancestors did, with creative mode and fail commands. Okay, it's a bit better. This is still a bit far out. Okay. Not dreadfully fond of the dead stops at the edges here, but again, we can fix that. Oh. Big yaps. Gotta love that noise. Maybe add some bit more shaping up here as well, so it's not purely predicated upon the support range of our branches. As effective as that is. You know you did well on your branches when you just flood the thing with non-persistent leaves and the resulting shape looks pretty good. Of course, if the leaves we were replacing were persistent, then they would just go away again. But it's fine. Okay, how's that looking? What do we think? A bit regular, but we'll be adding other stuff to it as well. Okay. Dave, if you're still in chat, what's the command for a backup? Is it not just slash backup? I mean, I tried that. It didn't register as a command. actually. That gets the whole thing. Sneaky torches? Maybe. Okay. That should be fine. I think we've got it on the vertical entirely. Have we captured all the leaves? Yes. Looks like it. Okay. This is a little excessive, but should be fine. So this would be tree. I guess just 0, I guess just tree. Tree makes sense, don't it? Okay, do not include entities, or we will swiftly be overrun with them. Okay. We need to actually get positions so that we can start using the slash fill on that. Uh, 3431 238 9229. Okay. So, we need something that glows and looks nice. And also like a log. Let's see what we can find. Not seeing anything in particular in here. Shroom lights? Maybe. I suppose lights would be a good thing to start searching for, wouldn't it? Yeah, there's shroom light. We could use shroom light. Makes sense that there's shroom light. It's vanilla, but still. Kind of looking for something that might blend in more with the wood. Not 100%. Just enough. Glowing living woods, Britannia? Ooh, maybe. Just first cycling through here. I'm not seeing anything that particularly stands out. Okay. Yeah, glimmering living wood. That might not fit with the witch hazel, though. Let's just have a comparison here. Yeah, that's... It's green, but that might just stick out a bit much. Particularly since it'll be illuminating, so it'll be quite obvious where it is. Glowing? Yeah. Soul Shroom block. Same problem. There are the glow shrooms, but I think they'll stick out too much of the leaves. Yep. If you're talking the song where I specifically told you not to talk, kindly go away. Could you hide it a bit in the leaves? Easily. But we're trying to get something for the actual like main for the Gronk. Apparently you can make stuff out of mossy glow shroom. Who knew? Glowstone lanterns. Neat. Beginning to think the the glimmering living wood might be... That might be the only option, essentially. What we got up here? Refined glowstone. Yeah, maybe not. I mean, regular glowstone might do the trick, honestly. Come to think of it. That might just suffice. Have you considered just hiding a feral flare lantern? Places invisible lights. It would work. Certainly, but I kind of... Here's like a main hint of my problem here with that, is the same mod has an item that just removes what it places, which suggests that this will place it in places I don't necessarily want it to be. Plus, I'd rather not have like blocks, just invisible blocks, just sort of hanging around. You can choose any decorative block you want without worrying about the light level. I mean, the light level is what I'm worried about, but I want to add a material that makes this shimmery and glowy and magical and such. That's the story here. Lit redstone lamps? Yeah, we can definitely add, like, later on. But I'm trying to, like, make the structure itself look like more than just a big tree. Fireflies? Ooh. Let's have a look. Don't appear to have any of those. Actually, where's the lights mod? Yeah, fairy lights, there you are. Festive smooth leaves. Let's have a look at those. Those will probably... Actually, let's set the time to night here, just so we can actually see the light a bit better. Yeah, those don't give off light by themselves. Those do. But I think these are going to be way too green next to the witch hazel. Because the witch hazel leaves not that glowy. Or not that green, see? Also, that's a start. Okay, we have a solution for the leaves. Use blooming ones. It's only blooming witch hazel. Sorry, what did I just see there? Okay, right, there's a... Okay then. That solves the tree leaves part. Could you stop being creepy for 5 seconds, please? Okay, let's just save that. Move to load. Call this a point 9. Let's actually make this a point 1. Okay. So we had our command there, didn't we? Yes. Fill that with blooming witch hazel leaves. Apparently it's the only one that blooms. Ain't that convenient? The regular ones. Okay, this is gonna be very bright. Just putting that out there. But that's why we're gonna be gradually tuning it down. Blimey. Just poor blimey. Dave, you should know there's a... Dave, you should know that there's a, like, button for showing light levels. I can never remember what it is myself. Okay. Right. We're just gonna gradually tone it down. F7? Okay. That'll be convenient in a moment. Just gonna gradually dial it back. They can't. The mobs can't spawn on leaves anyways, so. Okay. Not bad, not bad. I think that's about good for that. Okay, so let's store that as O2. Alright. Shall we try the Glimmering Living Wood? I think it's kind of our only option. It also appears to have animated textures for a Electo. Scared the fact you picked up an apple means that the summoned blooming leaves are dying. They'll be fine. There'll be a handful of them that'll be like where we place them, but the rest should be fine. Worst case scenario, I can just replace the existing ones with ones that are persistent. Like I said. There. And same again with the ones that we didn't make glow. There we go. Now they shall never go away. Okay. So, what about the Kronk? What are we gonna do about this glorious Kronk? Britannia glowing flowers? The flowers in the air would work. I just gotta check blooming. It's literally just the witch hazel, wow. Imagine. Isn't there a glow vine? There is. I mean, we'll be adding that, but we'll be adding that like when we're down on the ground again. Up here we're just sort of doing the bulk structure. Flowering? Let's have a look. That's just different leaves. Orchard, Palo Verde, and Nightshade. If we mixed in regular living woods, might help with the contrast with the witch hazel. I'm not 100% fond of it though. Could also have the entrance as a portal to the Elven Realm. Oh, I have plans for the entrance, don't you worry. But we need to actually get the structure finished first. Such a different RGB. Yeah, it's a lot more yellow. And whereas this is a lot more red. But we need to figure out basically a palette before we... What did I just see glowing? Oh, just not glowing, just golden. I do think this could work. It has enough green in it. The trouble is the brown texture to it. Shroom lights might be the idea. I mean, maybe, but they're also translucent. Well, different shroom lights than the ones I was thinking of, but bleh. We can smack some shroom light lanterns around, certainly. Mossy living woods could help. Let's have a look. Wood planks, Dreamwood planks. Where's Mossy Neverack? Where is Mossy Living Wood? I actually don't see a Mossy Living Wood. I only see the planks. Apparently, it only exists as planks. Huh. Yeah, I don't see Mossy Living Wood, like wood, just planks. There is a... pardon me. There is a bit of a transition there, though. Lighting the outer grung. I mean, ideally also the interior, because it's a war zone in there, but yes. We're trying to come up with a color palette that includes a block that emits light so that I don't have to stick torches or other things around necessarily. And planks look good too. Yeah, they don't really come off as being planks, do they? They're all pretty close, especially in that midsection. Well, we've got a backup anyways, so let's try it out. Let's see what we get. So let's see, that is mostly living wood planks. And that is Britannia. Replacing witch hazel log. At the moment, we do have a whole ton of here that's wood, but for right now, log. Okay. And let's load in. That is a fish. Okay then. Why not, apparently? So once again with point 1. And let me just get like a lever, because it's probably gonna be easier here. That's definitely giving it some texture, I'll give you that much. You can tame the... Oh, of course you can. Okay. Let's go a couple more steps. Right, and then let's add in the Glimmering. Let's see what we get. Besides really high light values. Criminy, that is a view and a half. Again, that's not quite the way we do it. When you ask it to sit when tamed, it just lies on its side like it's dead. Of course it does. What are light levels like? Pretty much the whole thing is... well, almost the whole thing. Yeah, this isn't how we would do this properly. We're just doing this to check how it's see. Not bad. Looks rotted. I could see that. You know. I do think the living wood does stick out too much. We might want to try and find some other woods to try and blend that in a bit better. How's the light down here? Hello, Dreadfish. How you doing? Oh, of course, there's those leaves on the interior because of how we did it. It's a lot. It's a lot, I think. Okay, I think we'll set this to 100 and then we'll just try and do that actually. So bye-bye lights for a hot minute. So let's see, living wood planks to start. And then we start mixing in. Would probably help if I didn't set that still to 100%. Okay, say 0.3. Save that as free. And then the Glimmering. Okay. How does that look? So that's the whole process done properly. That seems a bit too noisy between the witch hazel and the living wood, but I do kind of like it. I do kind of like it, I think. Why is there a... Why is my tree full of poison? Why is my tree continually full of poison? Oh, because there's a plagued creeper. Ah. Boss mob, yeah. Might look better with vines on it. Yeah, it probably will. It probably will. Okay, I think... Let's try one more dose. Okay. It's like 90% more proof down here, but we can fix the rest. Okay. I'm gonna say I like that. I'm gonna say that looks good. So let's save that as tree 4. So we'll add some vines coming off it. We'll add some like add additional leaves for decor and lighting. We can add some other bits and bobs to really make the place pop. And bear in mind, this is not like pro skill builder kind of stuff, because again, I'm not really being paid for this, at least not yet. I have been paid for builds before, but yeah, we would do this much differently. This is purely noise-based decor, really. I hate that the inside of the tree looks like it's just full of a whole ton of fart clouds. I mean, those fart clouds are migrating. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Yes, Dave. Okay, so they're like, I think one more block of like logs or something that we can use. I think one more. Especially if it's mossy. Is the mossy or did we just regular? Oh, those are mossy. Good, good, good. Let's see. Patterned framed? No, not quite. Something a bit closer to the witch hazel, I think. Maybe jungle. Jungle's not that far off it, actually. We can stick some shroom lights in for decoration, but let's have a look at jungle wards next to the witch hazel. Oriented differently. Bit more brown. Those might work, actually, looking at them. Not as a direct transition, though. Jeez, that Palo Verde is just bright green. Oh, is that more... Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm a fae rather than undead, so I do get phantoms. Ghost pirate rats. Nope. Immediate no. I can place all the jungle logs sideways. I mean, jungle wood will probably be necessary either way because we'll be placing it in so many places. But same problem, really. Holly. Let's have a look at the Hollywood. Sentence I just said. That would definitely mix in better with the living woods, but it has the same sharp edge to comparable to the witch hazel. Ebony I don't think will help either. It really isn't very much comparable to Witch Hazel, seems. Ghost Pirate literally seems like the only option. Where are you? There you are. And even that's kind of a bit too bright and still doesn't solve our problem. I think we just deal. I think we just deal. There's are there two separate plagued creepers now? Really? No, there's a wraith that is adaptable and plagued. What's the light level like in here? Still pretty dark, but that's fine, because we'll be doing other decor in here. Plague can spread? I mean, from rats it can. Logged on long enough to get a free boss. Yeah. Yay me. What do we think, people? How does that look so far? I just... Again, I don't want to switch it out entirely for living wood, which would solve the problem, because it'll then not match any of the rest of the forest. And then from a more ground kind of level, what is that? Why is there one of these in the air? Is that still from the wraith? And we have a multi-headed spider. Okay, I'm picking up stuff from things that died. Just gonna drop down here. Which should hopefully mean that everything up there despawns. Oh, hello Dreadfish, how you doing? The fish has plague now? I mean, hopefully not. Another front, yes. Okay, just about everything that was persistent up here has now gone away. Okay. The texture on this Gronk really bugs me. But we are out of time for the day, so hope everybody's enjoyed. We'll be back at this in the very near future, leading up to our April 3rd official day 1. And hopefully we'll figure this part out, and then we can get to work on the interior a bit better, as well as like special details and whatnot. But that's all I got for now. So I hope you've all enjoyed, and I will catch you all as ever next time. My next stream will be on Tuesday with some coding for some various oddities stuff, and then on Thursday we have some Among Us, and on Saturday we should have some carousel, some random games with the patrons. Speaking of which, everything I do is paid for by the patrons over at patreon.com/lying. If you happen to have any spare cash in the given month, then head over there, help me out. It really is heavily appreciated, especially right now where I have to pay for meds at extortionate rates. But anyways, hope you've all enjoyed. I'll catch you all as ever next time. This is gonna be really green, isn't it?